Listen to me carefully. Don't click away. Don't get distracted, and don't think this is just another video. This is not just something nice to hear. This is a divine appointment. You stumbled across this for a reason, and I believe deep in my spirit that God Himself brought you here. Why? Because He is about to do something in your life, so big, so overwhelming, so mind-shattering that it will leave you utterly speechless. But here's the danger. If you miss what I'm about to share, you might miss the moment God has been preparing for you all along. The truth is, too many people sleep through their season of breakthrough because they don't recognize it when it comes. They're distracted, doubting, or discouraged. So when heaven opens the door, they're not even looking. I'm telling you right now, don't make that mistake. Don't just hear my words. Let them sink into your spirit. I want you to grab this message with both hands, because by the end of this, I believe you'll feel the fire of expectation burning inside of you. You'll know God is moving. And when He moves, nothing, no enemy, no circumstance, no failure can stop Him. So here's my challenge to you. Watch this to the very end. Let every word be a seed that grows faith in your heart. By the time we finish, you won't just believe God can do it, you'll believe He's already doing it for you. All right, I'm not going to waste another second. Let's get straight to it. I need you to hear me right now, not with your ears, but with your spirit. God moves in seasons, and when the season shifts, everything changes. You can be in a long, dry period where nothing seems to be happening, and then suddenly, without warning, the heavens open. This is the mystery of divine timing. God often moves suddenly, but that sudden move is almost always preceded by a long period of preparation, a period you may not have even realized was preparation. You might have felt stuck, delayed, even forgotten, but every moment has been building toward what He is about to release. I've been there myself. Those years when I prayed, waited, and wondered if God even heard me. It felt like everyone else was moving forward while I was stuck in place. But what I didn't understand back then is that God's calendar is not my calendar. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." That means God is never late. Not once in the history of creation has He been behind schedule. You may feel like you're in delay, but in His plan, you are right on time. The Holy Spirit is stirring hearts right now all over the world to expect the unexpected. That stirring inside you, that restlessness, that subtle awareness that something is about to shift, is heaven's way of saying, pay attention. When God moves, the impossible becomes inevitable. Luke 1:37 declares, "For with God nothing shall be impossible." That's not just a verse to memorize. That's the reality you're about to step into. What once felt unreachable will suddenly be in your hands. What once looked closed off will suddenly open before you. The key is recognizing the season. And here's the truth. Most people miss it. They're too distracted by disappointment or too focused on what didn't happen in the past. They keep their eyes on the clock, counting the days, instead of looking for the signs that heaven is aligning things behind the scenes. But if you can open your spiritual eyes right now, you'll see it, doors quietly unlocking, opportunities beginning to form, divine connections crossing your path. Heaven's agenda is accelerating. Things are moving faster than you can plan, and that's the point. God's plan isn't bound by your human strategy. He is weaving together events, conversations, and encounters that you could never have orchestrated on your own. And when it happens, it will be so precise, so perfectly timed, you'll know it could only have been Him. That's why this is the time to lean in closer, to silence the noise, and to stay ready. Because when the season shifts, There won't be time to prepare. You'll need to already be in position. Trust me when I say, this is not a season to doubt. This is a season to watch with expectation. Your waiting has not been wasted. God has been setting the stage for something greater than you imagined, and now the curtain is about to rise. But what happens when the God of impossible timing decides your moment is now? What if the very thing you thought was set in stone was already trembling under the weight of His hand? I don't know what has been looking permanent in your life. Maybe it's a financial struggle, a broken relationship, a cycle of failure, or a wound so deep you stopped believing it could ever heal. But I'm here to tell you, what feels permanent is no match for the power of God. When His hand moves, everything changes in an instant. Isaiah 43:19 says, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland." That means the very ground that has felt barren under your feet is about to bloom with life. God is not intimidated by the size of your problem. He is not wringing His hands in worry about how to fix it. He specializes in turning ashes into beauty, just as Isaiah 61:3 promises. That's not poetic language. It's a reality that countless people have witnessed. I've seen it in my own life. I've watched situations that seemed beyond hope turn around so quickly it left me breathless. And the same God who did it for me is more than able to do it for you. You see, we often think change has to be gradual, that breakthroughs take years. But there are moments when God acts suddenly, and decades of pain can dissolve in a day. One divine encounter can shift the trajectory of your entire life. One phone call, one opportunity, one act of obedience. And just like that, the thing you thought would never change becomes the testimony you can't stop sharing. The enemy may have been working overtime to convince you that your situation is hopeless, but he is a liar. In a single moment, God can reverse every scheme, every trap, every weapon formed against you. He can expose the hidden plots, tear down the barriers, and open doors you couldn't even reach the handle of. And when He does, every voice of doubt will be silenced. Every whisper of fear will fade into the background. I want you to imagine it right now. Your story shifting from tragedy to testimony without warning. Picture yourself looking back just a few weeks from now, trying to explain to people how everything changed, and all you can say is, God did it. That's the kind of turnaround He's capable of. That's the kind of miracle He is famous for. So, no matter how stuck you feel, no matter how deep the pit, know this. God's power to reverse situations is not a distant hope, it's a present reality. At this very moment, He is capable of flipping the script in your favor. And when He does, it will not just meet your need, it will leave you standing in awe. And if He can turn it all around in a single breath, can you imagine what He's already setting in motion where you can't see? One of the most frustrating parts of faith is the silence. The days, months, even years when you pray, but it feels like nothing is happening. But let me tell you something. You have no idea what God is orchestrating behind the scenes. Long before you see a single result, heaven is already at work. Psalm 91:11 says, "For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." That means God is not only listening to your prayers, He is deploying heavenly forces to bring about His purposes in your life. There are doors you prayed for that He didn't open, not because He was ignoring you, but because He was protecting you. Some of the greatest blessings you'll ever have are the prayers God said no to. Closed doors can feel like rejection, but they are often divine protection. God sees what you can't see. He knows the dangers, the traps, the distractions that could derail your destiny. And so, in His wisdom, He closes certain paths while He prepares the right one. Every delay you've experienced has been strategic for your growth. You've been learning patience, perseverance, and trust, qualities that will be essential when your breakthrough arrives. Habakkuk 2:3 reminds us, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." The waiting season is not wasted time. It's God setting the stage so that when the blessing comes, it will be unmistakably His doing. I often think of it like a theater production. The audience sits in anticipation, staring at the closed curtain, wondering why it's taking so long for the show to start. But behind that curtain, a crew is moving, building, adjusting, making sure every light, every prop, every sound is in perfect place. And then, at just the right moment, the curtain rises, and what you see takes your breath away. That's exactly what God is doing in your life. Right now, angels are being dispatched. Relationships are being aligned. Resources are being prepared. Opportunities are being positioned in such a way that when the curtain of your breakthrough rises, everything will flow together so seamlessly that you'll know only heaven could have coordinated it. So don't let the silence fool you. Don't assume inactivity means absence. God's unseen hand is more active than ever in your life. And when the work He's been doing behind the scenes finally comes into view, you will stand in awe at how perfect His timing and His plan truly are. Because when heaven is working in the shadows, the question isn't if the miracle will come. It's whether your heart will be ready to hold it. Faith is not a vague wish. It's the bridge between God's promise and its fulfillment. Hebrews 11:1 says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Faith is substance. Faith is evidence. It's real, it's tangible, and it's powerful enough to bring heaven's promises into the reality of your life. But here's what I've learned. Faith is not just believing in your mind. It's aligning your words, your actions, and your attitude with what God has said, even when nothing in your circumstances agrees. Proverbs 18:21 tells us that death and life are in the power of the tongue. That means your mouth can either partner with heaven or sabotage your own miracle. Speaking life means declaring God's promises out loud, over and over, until your heart believes them more than the lies of fear. Persistent prayer is another key. Prayer is not about convincing God to move. It's about creating a landing strip for His glory. When you keep praying, even when nothing changes, you are showing God that your trust is anchored in Him, not in what you see. Trust requires surrender. And that's where many people struggle. They want God's blessing, but they still want control. Faith often demands that you release the need to figure it out. It means saying, "God, I don't understand how this is going to happen, but I trust you anyway." Obedience is another powerful piece. Faith alone can believe for a miracle, but obedience can unlock blessings that faith by itself cannot. Sometimes God will give you an instruction that makes no logical sense. Just like He told Peter to throw the net on the other side of the boat after a whole night of catching nothing. The moment Peter obeyed, the nets overflowed. And then, there's the choice to stand firm when others waver. Your faith will be tested, and people around you may doubt. But when you choose to remain unwavering, you create an atmosphere where the miraculous becomes inevitable. God honors the one who holds their ground when the storm is raging, because that's the posture that invites His power to manifest. So, if you want to see the miraculous, start now. Align your words with His promises. Keep your prayers alive. Surrender your control. Obey without hesitation, and stand firm. The moment your faith takes root, the miraculous is no longer a distant dream. It becomes your reality in waiting. And when faith has positioned you in the center of His will, you start to notice the signs, the quiet whispers that the atmosphere around you is about to break wide open. Before a great storm breaks, you can often feel it in the air. The wind shifts, the pressure changes, and nature whispers that something is coming. In the same way, before a divine breakthrough arrives, there are signs in your spirit that something is about to happen. But you have to be sensitive enough to notice them, because God often gives hints before He releases the harvest. One of the first signs is an unusual stirring of expectation deep within you. It's a restlessness you can't explain, almost like you're on the edge of something new, but you can't see it yet. That's not your imagination. That's the Holy Spirit preparing your heart to receive what heaven is about to release. It's God's way of saying, "Get ready, I'm moving." When you feel this, don't brush it off. Lean into it. Pray more. Pay attention to your surroundings. The stirring is a signal that something is in motion. Another sign is increased resistance from the enemy. 1 Peter 5:8-10 warns us to be alert because our adversary seeks to devour. Often, just before your breakthrough, the opposition will intensify. Things might get harder, not easier. The enemy knows he can't stop what God is about to do, but he will try to discourage you enough that you give up before you see it. This is why spiritual warfare can feel the fiercest right before your victory, because you are closer than you think. Then there are divine confirmations, those moments when you hear the same verse, phrase, or prophetic word over and over again from different sources. You might read it in Scripture in the morning, then hear it from a friend later that day, then see it written somewhere unexpectedly. That's not coincidence. That's God speaking to you, reminding you of His promise and urging you to hold on. Revelation 3:8 tells us that when God opens a door, no one can shut. These confirmations are signs that the door is already turning on its hinges. Sometimes, your breakthrough is preceded by sudden opportunities that align perfectly with God's promises. These aren't random chances. They are divine setups. They come in ways you didn't expect and sometimes in places you didn't even want to go. This is where faith and courage meet. You must be willing to step into unfamiliar territory when God calls. And then there's the most beautiful sign, an unshakable peace, even in the middle of chaos. It doesn't make sense to your mind, but deep inside, you know that God is in control and that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. This peace is a seal from heaven, a quiet whisper that says, "The battle is over, the victory is yours." If you are experiencing any of these signs right now, especially more than one, hear me clearly. You are not waiting for your breakthrough to start. You are in the final moments before it manifests. This is the season to press in, not pull back. Keep your faith alive, because what you've been praying for is already on the way. And when the moment finally collides with the promise, you don't just see the breakthrough, you live in the wonder of a God who leaves you without words. When God moves, you won't have to convince anyone it was Him. The testimony will speak for itself. 126:3 declares, "The Lord has done great things for us, and we are filled with joy." That's what happens when His hand intervenes. You stand there, speechless, your heart pounding with gratitude, your eyes wet with tears, realizing that what you're living in now is something you only used to dream about. And here's the beautiful thing. God's miracles are never just for you. Matthew 5:16 says, "Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." When He moves in your life, people around you will notice. Some will be inspired. Some will be convicted. But all will see a glimpse of His glory. Your life becomes a living billboard for the goodness of God. That's why gratitude is so important. Gratitude keeps your heart tender toward His presence. It's easy to let answered prayers become normal over time, to forget how desperate you once were. But gratitude keeps the memory alive. It keeps you worshiping the giver, not just the gift. Sharing your testimony is another powerful way to honor what God has done. You never know who needs to hear your story. What you've been through and overcome could be the very encouragement someone else needs to hold on for one more day. Testimonies multiply faith. They spread hope like wildfire. When people hear how God showed up for you, they start believing He can show up for them too. Living in awe means you don't move on quickly from what God has done. You let it sink in. You replay it in your mind. You meditate on it until your heart is overflowing with worship. And then you realize, this is just the beginning. Because the God who just moved in your life has promised to take you from glory to glory. This is the life we are called to live. Not just chasing miracles, but walking daily in the awareness of God's power and love. Every answered prayer, every deliverance, every open door should be a reminder that He is faithful. And if He's done it once, He can do it again and again. So, as you stand in this new season, let your awe be unshakable, your gratitude be loud, and your testimony be bold. You are living proof that God still works wonders, and the world needs to see it. This isn't the end. It's the first chapter of even greater works He will do through you. It's one thing to hear a message about God's power. It's another to take that truth, hold it in your spirit, and speak it back to Him in faith. This is the moment where you shift from hearing to responding, from receiving a word to sealing it over your life. We've talked about the God who moves suddenly, the God who changes everything in an instant, and I believe He is leaning in right now, listening for your voice. So I'm going to pray, but I don't want you to just listen. I want you to pray with me, out loud, boldly. Don't worry how it sounds. Heaven is not listening for perfection. It's listening for sincerity and faith. Let's pray together. Father, I come before you today in awe of who you are. You are the God who parts seas, who raises the dead, who calls things that are not as though they already are. You hold the universe in your hands, and yet you care for me. I believe you are able to move suddenly in my life. I believe you are able to do the impossible. Right now, I choose to lift my eyes off the problem and fix them on you, my miracle worker, my waymaker, my redeemer. Lord, I lay every burden at your feet right now. Every fear, every disappointment, every unanswered question, I release them into your hands. I refuse to carry what you have already promised to handle. I let go of the pain, the shame, the regret, the heaviness that has tried to weigh me down. I breathe out the fear, and I breathe in your peace. Right here, in this moment, I let go. I declare by faith that I am in a season of divine intervention. I speak over my life that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. I agree with your word that what the enemy meant for evil, you are turning for good. I declare open doors. I declare sudden miracles. I declare that I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. My words align with heaven, and I reject every lie that says it's too late or too hard. Father, I step into my breakthrough by faith. I see myself standing on the threshold of answered prayer. I see chains breaking, mountains moving, and blessings overtaking me. I prophetically step into my now season, believing that this is not just coming, it is here. I choose to walk forward in courage, knowing you have gone before me. I am who you say I am. I am chosen. I am love. I am redeemed. I am more than a conqueror through Christ who strengthens me. I am the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. Your hand is upon me, your favor surrounds me, and no force in hell can stop what you have ordained for my life. I speak blessings over my future. I declare restoration where there has been loss. I declare provision where there has been lack. I declare acceleration where there has been delay. I see doors swinging wide, opportunities chasing me down, and divine connections coming into place. I prophesy that my latter days will be greater than my former days. And now, Lord, I say thank you. Thank you for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you're about to do. I trust your timing. I trust your process. I trust your heart for me. I surrender my plans to yours, knowing your ways are higher and your thoughts are greater. I end this prayer with praise because I know my miracle is already in motion, and soon I will stand speechless at the goodness of my God. If this word has stirred your spirit, and you know God is about to do something that will leave you speechless, then I invite you to take this moment and turn it into a seed for someone else's miracle. When you give, whether through a super thanks, a membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not just supporting a channel. You are sending God's voice into someone's midnight, carrying His light into the deepest valleys, planting seeds that heaven will harvest in souls you may never meet until eternity. The Lord said, "Give, and it will be given to you." This is not just a verse. It is His living promise over your life, and He will not fail to fulfill it. You've prayed, "Lord, use me." This is how He is answering you now. This moment is holy, and your act of faith right now will echo in eternity, opening doors, releasing favor, and drawing others into His kingdom. I declare blessing over your seed, that it will multiply in joy, protection, and divine provision over your household. Now act, click, give, and watch heaven move with you. Before you click away, I want you to take this moment and declare your faith publicly. Don't just let this be another video you watched. Let it be the moment you marked your expectation in front of heaven and earth. I want you to go down to the comments right now and write these words. I'm ready for what God is about to do. Write it boldly. Write it like you believe it. And as you type it, see it as your prophetic act, your way of saying to God, I'm in position, my heart is ready, and I refuse to miss my season. If this message stirred your faith, share it with someone who needs hope today. Because sometimes all it takes is one word, one prayer, one declaration to set someone else on the path to their own breakthrough. And if you haven't yet, make sure you stay connected here, because we're going deeper into the kind of faith that doesn't just talk about miracles, but lives in them. Amen. Please like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to God, subscribe to our channel